Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Extraordinary Talks. And for today's video, as you can see, I have a legend here, someone on the podcast that I'm so excited to talk to, of course, Madison Kvaltin, who was just crowned our Miss Universe Canada 2023. How are you, Madison?
I'm doing so well. Just so excited, so grateful, and just go, 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 go. It's really exciting times right now.
Absolutely. So, for those of you who don't know, actually, the final coronation night of Miss Universe Canada took place how long ago? Like 2 weeks ago?
Like around 3 weeks
Around
now.
3 weeks
So
now. Okay. And Madison came out as the winner. As you can see, the beautiful crown on her head, looking absolutely stunning. Madison, take me back to that coronation night. What was going on through your mind, and how did you feel
oh,
when the news was announced?
you know what? There was so much more pressure going back this year, being first runner up last year and performing so well at Miss International.
Yes.
It was super intimidating, but I had worked so hard over the last year.
Yeah.
And honestly, the woman that was on the stage this year versus last year was completely different. She was so much more empowered, worked so much harder. So I just really, really wanted it. But the caliber of women at Miss Universe Canada this year was insane. Every single girl in that top five
Yes.
was phenomenal. Any of us would have been amazing Miss Universe Canada. So of course I was super nervous. I hoped that it was in my destiny to become Miss Universe Canada, but I
Right.
was also at peace with the fact that I might not be. But I definitely gave it everything in my heart and soul, and I was super grateful that it was my time to shine.
Absolutely. And well deserved because, as you said, you worked really, really hard for it to make it happen. And of course, we'll have time to get into all of those things during our conversation. Before we go any further, I would like for you maybe to take a few seconds just to introduce yourself briefly for those who are just getting to know you now.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Madison. I'm from Northern Ontario in Canada. So I grew up in a small little town called Sudbury, but I moved to an even smaller town called Manitoulin Island. So I'm a little country girl at heart, but loves the glimmer and glam that is all things pageantry. So I like to joke that I kind of embrace that Hannah Montana lifestyle where I kind of live the best of both worlds. And yeah, just super exciting. And yeah, I love pageantry.
Absolutely. So, Madison, thank you for that. Let me ask you, where did the passion for pageantry begin for you? Because one thing that I didn't know about you, I actually found out like a week ago, it was that you actually competed at Miss Intercontinental back in the day. So this has
Yes,
been an
yeah.
ongoing
So
love with pageantry, right?
yeah, so I've been in the industry for a little bit. So the first pageant I ever did, I was 17 years old. It
Wow.
was a small little local pageant. It was called Miss North Ontario, and it's a scholarship pageant, and there's like no bathing suit involved. It's literally all about your philanthropy and
Mhm.
what you're doing in your community. And the director of it reached out to me when I was 17 and I was in school, and she was like, I think you'd be amazing at this. Like, I've always been super involved in my community. I've always been very volunteer driven and very out there in my community in terms of helping people
Yeah.
and making a difference. So she reached out and she was like, you should do this. And I was like, you're crazy. Like, I'm a sports girly. Like, I never wore makeup before. I never wore heels. I was like, you're nuts. Like, absolutely not. And then I was like, you know what? I love a good challenge. I'm a little bit competitive. I love to really push myself. So I was like, you know what? Let's try it. And so I did it. And then it kind of just ignited a passion in me. And I had so much fun with it. And then, yeah, I did Miss Teenage Canada a couple times. And then I think it was like about a week after I turned 18.
Mhm.
A couple of my friends, we did the like fun little pageant that was Miss Supranational, Miss Intercontinental Canada, and Top Model of the World were all awarded on a weekend pageant.
Yes.
And that was the year that Hannah Begovic also won Miss Supranational Canada, and I won Intercontinental Canada. And I was a baby. I was a
Wow.
baby. I had like just started my first semester of university, and I like had to take a month off to go to Sri Lanka for
Wow.
Intercontinental, and it was just an experience of a lifetime. But it also kind of exposed to why I wanted to stop doing pageantry while being in school, because it was just way too much work, and
Yeah.
taking that much time off school was like, oh no, 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 we can't do this. We need to get our degree and get our career settled before we kind of get back into that. And then yeah, last year I was like, you know what, I'm kind of craving a pageant again. So There's a long-winded answer to my pageant story, I guess.
Absolutely. But I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I was so surprised when I found out because first thing I thought, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that Madison is like really, really young. And at the same time, like, she's well educated and everything. So she was doing all
Yeah.
of this like really young and also like while going through school. So that's really something really remarkable.
Yeah.
And of course, I have the pleasure to meet you in person last
Yeah.
year at Miss International, where you ended up as within the top 8 of the competition, right?
Yes.
So how was that experience for you?
Oh my God. Miss International, I think will forever have a really, really special place in my
Yes.
heart. Like the competition itself is so phenomenal. Like they really, really take care of their girls with that organization. They make sure that you're doing well. I mean, like I think I slept at least 8 hours every night, which is like insane for pageantry. Like that is not normal. So they just really, really took care of us, and we got to explore so much of Japan. And the girls were phenomenal, of
Mhm.
course. And then, of course, placing so well and really working my butt off to represent and showcase that Canada does have strong pageant girls was kind of the cherry on top. That was the highest that Canada's done in a really long time. So I'm super,
Yes,
super proud.
exactly. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, precisely going to Japan and obtaining such a remarkable placement, for the country, how did that make you feel, especially coming after, competing at Miss Universe Canada last year, ending up as a first runner-up, going to Miss International, and then obtaining such a remarkable placement? Was that one of the reasons that you wanted to come back to Miss Universe Canada and try again, or?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of saying this weekend that I didn't choose Miss International Canada.
Yes.
It chose
Uh-huh.
me. My dream was and always has been to go to Miss Universe. Miss
Yes.
Universe Canada was always my goal when I first got into pageantry and I started getting into it. It was like, wow, Miss Universe, that's the big one. Because I think it was right before I got into pageantry was the year that there was the whole Steve
Yes.
Harvey mishap. And then I just like dove right into it. And then there was all these incredible title holders that were crowned a couple years in a row after. And it was like,
Yeah.
wow, these are incredible women. Like, this is why I want to do this. This is why I want to be a part of that elite group of courageous women that are making incredible impacts in their communities. So yeah, I think it was always a part of my heart to do Miss Universe Canada and I guess have the opportunity to achieve that goal.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I also find really inspiring about you is that you were able to compete last year. Miss Universe Canada ended up as the first runner up and came back stronger than ever for Miss Universe Canada. So, can you walk me through the process? Like, how were you feeling right after last year's coronation night, where you went so close to the crown? And this time around, when you came back, how was that? What was the difference of
Yeah.
that?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I was a wreck after Miss Universe Canada last year. I was so heartbroken. And like, I did have the expectation that it does take a couple
Yeah.
tries to win your national pageant, especially here in Canada. I think there's only a handful of girls that have ever won on their first try. So
Oh, sorry, Madison. I actually lost audio, so I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
sorry, did
Ah,
I?
okay,
Oh,
okay. We are back. Oh, good. So you were
sorry, I
saying,
was getting a phone
oh,
call.
it's okay, it's
So,
okay.
oh yeah. Um, so last year I was super
Mhm.
heartbroken. I mean, you get so close to winning your and achieving your goal. It was just like I couldn't help but ask questions of like, why not? Like, why was it not in my destiny? Why?
Mhm.
What could I have done better to achieve that number one spot? I really beat myself up after, and as I look back now, I'm like, oh my goodness, I really should have made peace with the fact that I could win or I couldn't win.
Yes.
And I think that was the biggest mentality shift that I had coming to Miss Universe Canada this year, because coming back when you're first runner up, you have one spot to do better.
Yes.
So one, you either put in the hard work so that you get that, or two, you make peace with the fact that you could win or you might not. And for me, it was, I'm excited. I kept telling myself I was excited for whatever next chapter of my
Mhm.
life was going to be, whether it be becoming Miss Universe Canada and then prepping for Miss Universe, or whether it be just a next step in my life and the next kind of chapter I'd be opening up opportunities for
Yes.
that. So I just really made peace with the fact that it's in the universe's hands. I'd given it everything I had, and if it was my time, amazing, and if not, it's not that. like I wouldn't be as heartbroken as I was
Yeah.
last year. I really tried to put myself in that frame of mind.
Exactly. So is it safe to say that because of those experiences that you had before, including, competing last year at Miss Universe Canada, that it prepared you for this time around, come to the competition and be the best version of yourself to get the crown?
100%. I mean, the last year really forced me to kind of reflect on why I wanted
Hmm.
it, why I was in pageantry, what made me different, what made me deserving of this title. It really forced me to take a step back and be like, okay, like what is my why? Like, why am I different? Why am I deserving? And I think that internal reflection is really, really important, especially when you're achieving and pushing for such a big goal such as Miss Universe. You need to understand why you're doing it, because it's not about just being beautiful and being a title holder anymore.
Hmm.
The crown and sash is just part of the uniform of a group of incredible people doing incredible things, and you have to understand why you belong there.
Absolutely. And you're in such a, I mean, in such a unique position, I think, because internationally, when we regard, like, when we look at what's happening in the world, right? Very often we say that a girl is lucky to represent their country once, even luckier twice. You're
Yeah.
gonna do it three times, so that's really remarkable.
Yes. Yes, and honestly, 3 is my lucky number.
Yes,
So this is my third national title, and it could be the potential third time that Canada brings it home. So yeah, we're giving good energy with the number
let's
3
go.
this
Let's
year.
go. I'll see you in El Salvador, okay?
Yes.
All right. So, one of the things that I wanted to ask you as well, of course, we know both of us. I mean, I think that maybe in your area, a little bit more than Montreal, but here, at least in Quebec, the pageant bubble is like non-existent. Like I've never seen like a local pageant or anything, and I love pageants, and there's none. So, I imagine that for the candidates as well, preparing internationally and looking for support, looking for sponsors and stuff like that is also a challenge. So, how did you go about, looking for help to prepare for these pageants? How did you manage to for people to take you seriously as well? Because I think there's a stigma around pageantry, right?
Yeah, pageantry here in Canada is really
Yeah.
tough. You have to be really thick skinned. You need to be willing to get 100 no's before you
Hmm.
get a yes. And you just got to be willing to put in the work. And I recently just moved to a tiny little town too. So I was super nervous that they wouldn't be supportive of my journey and doing something so
Yeah.
different. Like I'm in as country town gets. Like we're a town of 900, and what I'm doing is so out of the ordinary for
Hmm.
them, but they were astronomically supportive. Like I have a key to town hall in my purse so that I could practice my passerella. Like they were beyond supportive of my whole journey, and anyone and everyone on the island was willing to support me in my journey there and now my journey to Miss Universe. So I think it's just a willingness to like not be upset when you get those no's and just keep trying, keep pushing, keep working hard, and eventually you'll get a yes, and maybe that other yes will snowball into more support. You can't take it too much to your heart. You have to really just keep pushing.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I think that embodies the essence of the Canadian spirit, right? The generosity and people just welcoming you and being so supportive. I imagine that now you are a celebrity in the town, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Everyone knows who I am. Everyone knows everything. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Okay, so maybe for people who are watching us, I know that when I talk about Canada, quite a bit of Canadian audience tunes in. So, if we have any girls or boys, anyone out there who would like to join pageantry in Canada, what would you say are the, let's say, like, basic 5 steps that they should take in order to get that journey started?
Yeah, I mean, first you got to research a little bit, figure out if there's any local pageants or maybe even an online pageant. With COVID, we kind of explored this new realm of virtual pageantry, and maybe that could be an easy way to kind of step into it. Kind of also look at the different organizations and different industries within the pageant space. Each pageant looks for a very different title holder. Like what is expected of Miss International is very different from what is expected of Miss Universe. So kind of look and see where you fit in. Maybe your platform or things you're passionate about align in that. So do a little bit of research. And then I think I think the biggest step is just having the courage to kind of do it,
Mhm.
like maybe you might not know a lot about it. Maybe you don't feel like you fit in, or maybe you don't think that you'll do well at it, but there's no shame in trying.
Yes.
You have to remove that fear of failure or that fear of judgment. So then you can really progress as a person. And then I think next is just kind of exploring the community as well. Here in pageantry here in Canada is very small. We are all super connected. I have so many incredible best friends that I've gotten through this industry. And whenever they go to a different pageant, I'm cheering them on. And whenever I'm doing something, they cheer me on. So the community is super supportive because it's so small. And because we don't get a lot of support, we have to support each
Mhm.
other. So I think those are really important steps. And then, yeah, I think just being willing to try is so important. Like each pageant, I think it's one pageant equates to 3 years of growth. And I can so attest to the amount of growth that comes out of it, and growth beyond just winning a title and sash. You learn so many incredible skills, like public speaking
Mhm.
skills, interview skills. I don't think I've ever been intimidated to go into a job interview anymore because of the skills I learned in
Yes.
pageantry. So there's so much more that you can learn from it than just being beautiful and being in a gown and using your words to inspire people. There's so much more. And I guess maybe the last I guess nail it part, I think I just have to reiterate the courageousness to try.
Yes.
Like, don't be afraid of judgment. I come from a very tiny town. Everyone hunts and fishes, and no one wears anything other than jeans and plaid. And I wear a glittery crown and parade around town. You can't be afraid to be a little bit
Yes.
different. Pageantry is very different than the normal here in Canada. And it's almost amazing in that essence, because then people are more willing to pay attention to you. They're more willing to listen to what you have to say. And it provides you such a beautiful platform to really push things that are happening in the world, or things that you're passionate about, or things you want to make change in the communities around you. So there's so much amazingness that comes out of it. And I really, really encourage anyone to at least try it
Yes,
once.
absolutely. I mean, I can agree with you so much and I can relate to all of this so much because I also had the opportunity to represent Canada internationally this year. And honestly, like it was such an incredible experience. But my biggest takeaway is that, there are so many skills that you learn and that you acquire in pageantry that are so useful for the rest of your life. As you said, like you're never stressed anymore to go into a job interview because you have to do so much public speaking. You have to put yourself out there
Mhm.
with a crown and people look at you and some of them will take you seriously, some of them won't. Some will think you're amazing, some will think you're crazy. And that's part of it, but
Yeah.
it prepares you for, be in a position where you're looked at and like you are able to deal with that with the judgment sometimes, right? Um,
Yes,
so I can relate. I
absolutely.
also encourage everyone, just go for it. You can choose whatever pageant fits you. You don't have to go
Yeah,
for anything extravagant. You don't have to go for swimsuit if you don't want to. You can just try it. It will boost
yeah,
your ego.
100%.
Amazing. So now, I mean, we've been talking about the past few years and the preparation, what led you up until this moment. Now that you're officially Miss Universe Canada, right? And I know you've been working so hard for this. How do
Mhm.
we step up the preparation even more for Miss Universe? Because we know that that's the next level. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. Miss Universe is the number one pageant in the world. So this is going to be like a competition.
Yes, and the caliber of women this year going to Miss Universe is insane. It's crazy. So I've just been in like, let's go, like we got to improve on everything. I felt really strong going to Miss Universe Canada this year, but I know that I can always improve. I always look at life like 1% better every day is better than nothing. I never want to feel like I've hit my
Mhm.
peak. So I'm continuing to work really, really hard with my coaches on all things passerella, my interview prep, being hyper aware of all things political and any like potential hot topics or onstage questions. I have just been hyper active in all things prep, because for me, going into a pageant, I really try to be so well trained, so well informed that I don't have to think when I get there. I just
Yes.
do. I have done everything that I could possibly prep beforehand so that I just get to enjoy the moment and really invest in that
Mhm.
present feeling and moments. And I think it's so important to do all that hard work so that you really get to, yeah, enjoy it when you get there. So I'm so excited. I know that there's so much more growth that I can work on. There's so much more I can improve on. And I'm just really, really excited to see how I can showcase that to the world. You know, Canada's kind of always underestimated in the world of pageantry. And I'm just so excited to really showcase that we do have some powerhouses here. You know, last year, Amelia, a dark horse, no one really looked at her going to Miss Universe and to be
Gagged.
placed in the top
Hmm.
16. You know, people are finally paying attention to Canada. And I'm really excited to kind of continue that wave that Amelia really set up for success. And I'm really excited for
Absolutely,
this year.
absolutely. I agree with you. I think that sometimes we tend to be overlooked, but don't play with Canada, huh? We got surprises for you.
Yeah,
Mm, mm,
no.
mm. I also know that you have been training with Natalie Glebova, of course, our Miss
Yes.
Universe from Canada. So tell me a little bit, how has that been, that experience? You know, interacting with her, having access to her and like her brain.
Oh my goodness. So I got the privilege of actually meeting Natalie finally in person this
Yes,
year
I
at
saw the
Miss Universe
selfie.
Canada. And my goodness, like meeting Natalie, you get it. Like you instantly meet her and you're like, okay, I get it. You literally exude everything Miss Universe. Like you are incredible. And the thing that Natalie has taught me the most in terms of my pageant prep that's kind of different than what I've ever been taught by any other
Mhm.
coach is that she's very holistic in her efforts and her approach. You know, she really emphasizes having like a meditative background to it. So are you really focusing your mind, body, spirit, and soul? All of that needs to be worked on when you go to a
Mhm.
pageant. Do you have any skills or tools to be able to calm yourself down when you're on stage? She taught me how to do a box breath when I'm a little bit maybe nervous or I need to like calm myself down so that I can focus in on that present moment. So she really helped me develop so many skills that I didn't think I really needed in pageantry, but has revolutionized my ability to
Yeah.
perform, you know, on stage. I think even last year at Miss Universe Canada, when I'd be posing, you could see my legs shake. I'd be so nervous on stage. Whereas this year, I was just loving being
Yeah.
on stage. Every moment, you couldn't really tell at all that I was nervous at all because I just was fully embracing and embodying the full experience. And I think that that's one of the most amazing skills that Natalie has taught me in all of my prep. So I'm so grateful to her. She's literally so amazing. She's so informative and she just loves her girls. She will do whatever it takes to help you succeed. I know when I was prepping for Miss International last year and we got our like speech topics, I think like 3 days before the final, and I had pre-prepared a speech, but I was like, Natalie, we got to workshop this so it fits into the theme. Like, how can we do this? And it was like 3 in the morning, and we worked for hours, and we got it all perfect. And she just, yeah, she will do whatever to make you feel so strong and successful. And she knows what she's talking about. I love her so much. She's so
That's
wonderful.
incredible. I mean, you're in a lucky position to be able to interact with her like that. But honestly, I think that this is also part of your success. You know, your success having such a
Yeah.
strong team of people who are truly there for you, to support you when it matters when it matters the most. Um,
Yes.
One of the things as well that I wanted us to talk about is, of course, we know that going into the pageant, you know, whether it's a national, whether it's international, there's a lot of expectation, lots of pressure. You're representing an
Yes.
entire country, so people want you to do really well. You mentioned it a little bit now talking about Natalie, but how do you truly manage that? Do you like check on social media? Do you just close up in your bubble and like deal with things yourself, or?
Yeah. I mean, I've had nothing but positive and overwhelming
Mm,
support. Like it has been phenomenal. Like I have had nothing but love and everyone is so excited for me. I mean, even the fact that I've been predicted on so many hot lists is insane to me because Canada's always overlooked.
mhm.
So I've been so excited and I'm so excited to just work even harder to show that I'm deserving of those hot
Yes,
picks and those being on those prediction lists. You know, it gives me more fuel to showcase that I am deserving of that, that I am going to work my butt off, that I am a great representation of Canada. It gives me more oomph to, you know, I got to prove them that I'm deserving of
yes.
this. So it makes me just really
Absolutely. I
excited.
mean, you got this, like hands down. I know it.
Yes.
I know it in my heart. So it's all good. All right, now we all know that, in pageantry, there's always a purpose, something that we want to defend, a platform. So please go ahead and introduce us to your platform.
Yes. So the biggest reason I got into pageantry was because of that platform it offers. And I've been really dedicated in my platform for nearly a
Mhm.
decade now in the world of body confidence and eating disorder awareness. So when I was a young girl, I struggled really, really badly with self love and taking care and respecting my body. I was hospitalized for quite some time. I was in and out of eating disorder clinics and programs. It was a nightmare as a kid. And we, especially being in Northern Ontario, we did not have the resources or access to any proper care to help young girls who were struggling
Mhm.
like that. And when I got into pageantry and I realized that I had this beautiful platform to help people and inspire people, I was like, oh my goodness, like if if I struggled so hard in my youth, imagine the support that I could give to someone who is going through that as well. I didn't have anyone, and it took me a really, really long time to help build a healthy relationship with myself, with food, with exercise. It took me a really, really long time. And a lot of people, without any help, you don't achieve that. So, and I'm just like a helpful, loving person. I grew up with a mother who was highly, highly empowered, and she taught me how important it is to empower other
Mm.
people in any capacity. So I just kind of blended the two worlds together. And now I've been helping hundreds of girls across Canada and men as well develop really important skills and tools to love and invest in their bodies. And especially with the growing use of social media, it's really important to learn like safe skills and tools on how to interact with
Mhm.
social media when you're struggling with your body and developing that self confidence. So I've been doing my workshops and seminars for years now, and I just created my online community, the Body Love Club, where I'm kind of bringing those teachings from my workshops into the online world. So, really, at the end of the day, I just want people to know that your body is the least interesting thing about you. You offer so much as a human, and it's your heart, it's your soul, it's who you are, it's how you're helping other people that makes you really, really beautiful. And I want people to not only hear that and see that through social media and other means, I want them to feel
Mhm.
it too. So I know through pageantry, I've been able to impact so many lives and help so many people. And I just can't wait to continue to work in this field. This is my life passion. This isn't just a pageant project. This is my everything, and it's everything that I want and will continue to work for in my
That's
life.
truly
So
so inspiring, first of all, and so remarkable. And I think that one of the most mind blowing things is that, first of all, you're able to take something that is so personal and like so, I imagine, such a sensitive subject and make it public for the good of other people. So, first of all, props to you. I
yes,
commend you 100%. And second of all, also that you've been doing this for over a decade, as you said, and that is still such a timely thing. Like it's still a topic that we
yeah,
need to talk about more, that we need to create more awareness around, and that it's still relevant with the youth, but even I think even in the world of pageantry. So we need to hear a lot
yeah.
more about it. So
100%. Like we, as progressive as we're
mhm,
getting here in, especially here in North America, talking about mental health issues, we're still not quite where we need to be. There are still people that live every day shameful and afraid to admit that they're struggling,
mhm,
and they aren't developing or investing in those skills or tools to really love themselves. So it's as long as I've been working in this, like we still every single day need to work to improve this, because especially in our youth, which is our future, we need to empower them to develop those really important skills to love themselves and take care of themselves and realize that, hey, I need to invest in myself before I can help other
yes.
people. We can't have our foundation as people broken, because there's no way that we can help other
Yeah.
people when we're hurt
Exactly.
ourselves. So
I have one question for you, if it's not too personal, of course. So, of
yeah,
course, talking about such a sensitive topic, right? I know that a lot of people will be fully open to it and wanting to know everything about it. Some people can also be a little bit more close to, having this conversation. So, have you ever experienced any sort of like backlash or people not wanting to hear about it? How has been your experience like being an advocate for
yeah.
this?
I mean, most of the time, anytime I've ever experienced I wouldn't say backlash, but maybe like hesitancy to what
Okay.
I'm talking about. Most of the time, it's people that are currently struggling with it. So they're struggling to hear my story. They're struggling to hear tips and tools on how to develop that self confidence because they're right in the
Mhm.
thick of things. They're right in that moment of, I hate my body. I hate myself. I don't want to invest in it. So I understand the hesitancy and I understand the backlash, I guess, in that regard. But that just makes me want to offer a helping hand even more. I give them the skills and tools, and if they're willing to accept it, amazing, but I can't force
Mhm.
it down your throat. I'm here to openly talk about my story because for so long I felt like I couldn't. I felt like I had to hide a whole part of me, a whole experience that literally changed who I am as a person. And I think it's really important for us to be able to talk about our struggles because no one is perfect. No one goes through life easy
Yeah.
peasy. We all have our battles. And it's important to be able to acknowledge, accept, and openly and freely talk about that because that's a really important step in the healing process to be able to acknowledge why you struggled, how you struggled, and how you can move forward
Yeah,
from those
of course.
situations.
In your opinion, let's say, for those of us, right? If we are in a position where we see a friend or a family member, a loved one who might be going through a similar situation, what is the best way for us to maybe approach them and offer some help, or at least let them know that, hey, we're here in case that you need, something. So, what is the best way to go about that?
Yeah, I think again, it's just like that healthy communication that, hey, I'm here for you when and if you need me. It's a really touchy subject because it's very internal. It's a battle in your head, it's a battle with yourself. Often we love to hurt the ones that love us the most when we're struggling so much mentally like that. But knowing that you have support when you're ready for it is astronomical. You can't force someone to heal. You can't yell at someone to eat. You can't yell at someone to be better mentally. You just have to offer them any tips or tools or support when they're ready and willing to do it. Unfortunately, it is a battle and journey that that person has to choose on their
Yeah.
own terms. They can't be forced upon it. So you just have to be ready and willing for when they're able to take that next step and to go down that route of recovery and self
Absolutely.
development.
That's so
So
incredible. Again, thank you so much for doing the work that you do.
yeah.
I hope that everyone who is listening to us can take, some notes and hopefully learn something and apply it to their lives. And of course, I will be leaving your social media and everything in the description down below for people to find you and
Yes.
support you on that journey as well.
For
I think that it must be so exciting to know that you're going into one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse, Miss Universe edition of all time. I mean, we have literally women from all over the world. We have a transgender contestant. We have Miss Nepal was just crowned, groundbreaking. So I'm
Yeah, plus size
yes.
woman. Yes, I'm so
So it
happy.
literally, I feel like every single year, Miss Universe is becoming more inclusive, more accepting, embracing people from all backgrounds. Right? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's so exciting. And especially being Canadian, diversity is so
Yeah.
important to us. So I'm so excited that we're having this phenomenal year of so much representation, having married women, having women with children. It's just, we're more and more opening the doors that anyone can be a highly empowered woman making a difference in their community. And I think this is just continuing the wave of how pageantry is
Hmm.
evolving. It's not just being beautiful anymore. It's what can you do with this incredible platform? How can you make a difference? How can you be more than just a beautiful woman on stage? That's
Yeah.
irrelevant. Like anyone can be beautiful, but do you have a beautiful heart? Do you have a beautiful story? Are you using that for
Yes, of
greater good?
course. I mean, now I have a side question for you, but I'm not gonna put you on the spot because I know how it
Yeah.
feels. So, going into such a diverse edition of Miss Universe, of course, everyone wants to stand out, especially with the looks. That's the fun part of Miss Universe. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
ask you who's dressing you, what color, or anything, but I'm gonna ask you if you could describe your normal looks, usually how you want to present yourself on a daily basis, or when you want to be a little bit more glam. What is your go-to? Hmm.
Oh, see, I'm a classic girly. I love timeless. I love clean lines. I love just really emphasize like yeah, I just love just classic beauty. I feel like I like sometimes I'm like, oh my god, my like style of fashion is so like old school, but it's just that I love that timeless
Yes.
energy. You know, I want anyone and everyone to look at me and be like, wow, that's amazing. And like not like I try to be a little edgy here and there. I do like to be a little bit modern, a little sexy. I like to throw it in for a loop to kind of surprise people. But at the end of the day, I think I'm just like a classic beauty and I really love to
Yeah,
emphasize that.
absolutely.
So
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. For me, timeless is always the way to go because it
yes,
doesn't matter if you win in 2023 or like 2050, you will still look incredible, right?
yes, 100%.
All right. So this question, so for pageant fans who are watching us from all over the world, might seem a little bit redundant, but we have so much work to do here in Canada with our pageant community. So Madison, for those Canadians who are watching us, and even for international fans as well, who want to support you, what is the best way to do so? In a way that it's effective for you, that will help you actually help you during Miss Universe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely just being involved through social media and through the
Mhm.
means that I'm presenting. So maybe following along on my Body Love Club journey, or maybe just interacting with the things that I'm showcasing and sharing through Miss Universe Canada. You know, pageantry, it still has a really long way to go here in Canada. And it's mostly just because people are uninformed. They don't know that it's highly empowering now. They don't know how progressive it's become. So I think just sharing and interacting and really showcasing how empowering and
Yes.
powerful it is really really means the world here in Canada. We just need more people to become aware and be willing to have those conversations and understand how developed it is and how it's continuing to evolve
Yes,
for the better.
absolutely. Come on, everyone, please do this.
Yes.
All right. So now, if you could think, okay, let's imagine it's already 2024. It is time for you to pass the national crown because you are currently having the Miss Universe crown, right? So, what is the ultimate achievement for you out of this reign? What would you accomplish with this platform that by the end of it, by the end of the reign, you will feel like, you know what, I made what I wanted to do. I accomplished it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that I'm really working
Mhm.
towards right now, especially within my platform of body confidence and eating disorder awareness, is I really want our education system here in Canada to really emphasize the importance of those teachings in school. So I'm really working to have the curriculum here in Canada to support some classes or teachings, especially within our youth, especially younger teens or people that are just stepping into their bodies, to get even just like a crash course on how to develop self-confidence, understanding signs and awarenesses of eating disorders. Maybe a lot of people here in Canada and abroad live in eating disordered behaviors and they have no idea. Like right now, there's I think 70 million people globally that have been diagnosed with
Yeah,
an eating disorder, but who knows how many more there are that live undiagnosed every single day. So these are really, really important teachings and skills that our youth really, really need to have. It shouldn't take someone on social media to be preaching and doing workshops and seminars. It should be something that should be taught in schools. You know, we need to empower our youth to have strong foundations as people, because if we're not enabling that better well-being as a person, how can we expect our generations to
yeah,
flourish, you know? So I think my biggest goal is to really have the Canadian government
mhm,
to listen and understand how important that is and how important those teachings need to be in our school systems. And then globally at large, I want to continue to advocate and showcase how important talking and normalizing is struggling with mental illness, specifically eating disorders is. So I just really want people to become aware and people to continue that trend of normalizing struggles. You know, everyone struggles and we have to be willing to have
mhm.
those conversations and accept people for all of their
Absolutely.
being.
Oh, I'm
So
getting the chills. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. All
thank
right,
you.
final
Thank
question,
you.
Madison. No pressure, huh? No, just kidding. So, in your opinion, what qualities make an outstanding Miss Universe, and how do you plan to embody those qualities?
I think the qualities that make an outstanding Miss Universe, one is you have to be
Mhm.
really passionate. You have to be so passionate about your cause. You have to be passionate about what you're doing in your community, what you're doing to really live up to the challenge of being Miss Universe. You know, it's an exhausting job and role, and you need to be passionate about it so that you can withstand when times get tough and you're not sleeping much and you're just working so hard. But you have to be really, really passionate about the whole job and responsibility. I think another really important, a really, really important quality is stepping forward with kindness and love and
Mhm.
care for the people around you. And I feel like being Canadian, we're born and bred that way. You know, we always approach everything with kindness and with love. And I'm a big believer that, you know, you never know what's going on in someone's life. So you always have to approach every situation with kindness and love, even if someone is upset or maybe they've said something not very nice. You know, you have no idea what's going on in their day. Maybe they just had a loved one pass away. Maybe they just got horrible news. Maybe they lost their job. You truly never know what's going on in someone's life. So you always have to approach every situation with kindness and love. And I think another quality, I think, is just a willingness to learn. You know, you when you become Miss Universe, you are a global representative. You have to be willing to learn from those around you. You have to be willing to inspire other people and explore different causes. You know, there's so much going on in this world, and we have to be willing to learn very creative and different ways to make the world a better place. You know, that's why there's that stereotype in pageantry of world peace, but genuinely pageant girls are looking to make the world a better place. And I think if you have passion, you're willing to learn, and you approach everything with kindness, you can be an incredible, incredible representative, especially for that of Miss
Wow, you are
Universe.
so incredible. I mean, I'm never gonna get tired of saying
Oh,
it. I'm so
thanks.
happy for you. I'm so proud of you, most importantly. And I'm super excited for your journey
Thank
as
you.
well. So we'll be rooting for you. We'll be sending you
Yes.
all the
Thank
love
you.
in the world. And just keep doing what you're doing because honestly, I think you are on the right path. Um, I just want to say
Thank
thank you so much for your time, Madison. I have to say publicly this because people need to know the hustle, okay? Madison just finished working like a few
you.
moments ago,
Yes.
and in like 10 minutes, not even, she was ready, crown on, sash on, and ready for the interview. So I thank you for your time. I know that, you don't have a
Yes,
lot of it nowadays.
of course. Yes. Thank you.
Of
Thank you for
course, it's been a
having
pleasure.
me.
And everyone, if you're watching, please go ahead in the description down below. You will have all the details about Madison, how to support her, and uplift her during this journey. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you
Amazing.
next
Thank
time.
you.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Bye.